and welcome to the Don't Break the Oath podcast. Today we're talking about when UFOs are actually alien craft. Like Neil deGrasse Tyson does a bit in one of his stand-ups where he talks about people coming to him and saying, I've seen a UFO, and then going into how they explain where the UFO's from and all this, and he says, well, it's not a fucking UFO if you know where it's from and all that sort of shit, you know what I mean?
It's not a UFO.
So,
yeah,
but these cases are actual cases of UFOs that are alien craft. And later on I'll go into my story why I feel that, I feel that we're being lied to either way, so I'll go into that into a bit.
Oh, quick thing before I let you go on. I was reading this fucking article on the interweb, about Putin having a phone call to Barack Obama about Nerbu, Planet X.
Yeah.
And he says, if you don't tell them, Putin says, if you don't tell them, I will. Something going on.
Well, I hope so. That's the only problem, the way it will come out, disclosure-wise.
Because, what he said, Putin says it's going to be catastrophe for the human race. They don't tell us what's going on. That's what it said in the article.
Well, there's definitely some reason why they're
meant to be able to see it in August, aren't we? So they say, so we'll see.
Whether they are. But no, I mean, that's the only way it is going to come out. If a leader like that, who's got the balls to come out and say it.
Because Putin don't care, does he? He's not bothered.
All this disclosure type stuff where they say, like, Americans have had deals with the aliens and all this, and I don't know, I just think, I don't think they know what's going on. That's part of the problem.
I think that's the part of the world that we live in today, conspiracy. Conspiracies mean people doing stuff, spending money to find out. So it's not going to be cheap, is it? Really? Conspiracies. Yeah. Just tell us, we'll be happy.
So I suppose I should start by saying that I've got a few cases here that we're going to go into that predate the 1900s. Now the first, airships were about before the 1900s, but obviously airships aren't exactly fast.
No.
You'd be able to see them quite a while, and you know what you was looking at by some time after that. But powered flight came into being about 1903, I think it was. The Wright brothers did their first powered flight.
Yeah,
so these stories all predate the 1900s, so that's before powered flight. So that, to me, means alien craft.
To me, yeah, it's got to be right. This one, I was reading it just amazes me, it does, really does. It's ship drops an anchor from the skies in Ireland, 1211. It's great. According to the 13th century text, the King's Mirror, an anchor attached to a rope was said to have fallen from the sky during a Sunday Mass in Clearwater Island, I think I got that right, in 1211. The rope was pulled tight, it dragged along the ground before becoming caught on the arch of the church. Crowd gathered to witness the event as they looked towards the heavens to see where the rope came from. They could vaguely make out the hull of a ship. It's crazy. After 10 minutes or so, a figure was seen exiting the ship, and it made its way down towards the anchor. The figure was said to move like a swimmer diving into water. As the figure noticed the crowd that had gathered, he panicked and headed back to the vessel, cutting the rope before the ship sailed away. The anchor was allegedly put on display in a church. I don't know what around that time, but hey, it's pretty good. But it also goes on to say that this is a remarkable, similar story to one told by the conical graves of Tilbury around the same time. Churchgoers were leaving Sunday Mass in an unexpected English village and noticed an anchor caught on a tombstone in the graveyard. Attached to the anchor was a rope that stretched up into the clouds. In this tale, a man also descended the rope, but the villagers grabbed him. The man then died, apparently due to dense, humid air. Absolutely crazy. There's two things you could do with that. It could have been a glimpse into another universe. What they say can be happening.
Yeah. Well, it could be. See, you got to imagine it through their eyes, haven't you? So a lot of these words that they say, like when they say ship, or it's because they didn't have another word for spacecraft or whatever. So a lot of this time,
ship.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that, but they're actually referring to an anchor, aren't they? So an anchor, and they say that they had it in the church. An anchor's an anchor, isn't it?
So it's coming from it could be what do they call it? I can never remember the bloody name of it. Don't know why.
Why would
parallel universe?
Yeah, it could be like some sort of weird airship.
Yeah, well, like I said, there was a weird story on YouTube the other day. What I was watching. There's a guy sort of leaking his sink. So he's like trying to think. He crawled all the way into a sink and into another thing, and he was stood with his older self. You know what I mean? He was a young bloke, and he was thinking whether he believed him or not. It could have been his dad, but they had the same tattoo and everything and that. But it was quite funny.
The other guy's like a foot shorter.
Yeah.
So
he's an old man though, isn't he?
Yeah, I know. But in the future, he's not gonna lose a foot though, is he?
Meant to shrink as you get older. I used to think your mum was taller than me, but she's not. She's a little shrink now.
Yeah, it's because you've grown.
No.
But no, the ankle, but the bit where they say that he was almost swimming like, so he's not climbing down the fucking road, is he?
He's swimming. Yeah.
So that when you see like in movies where you see aliens being beat out of a fucking ship, they kind of look like shimmery and fucking
shiny.
I can imagine seeing that in 12
in Ireland.
I can imagine seeing that back then, and you wouldn't have any other words for teleportation, would you? It would look like swimming.
Yeah, but like I say, but an anchor. It's just great. I just think it's great. I love stuff like this. It leaves the imagination running wild on what it could be and what it can't be. There'll be some clever dick out there who'll explain it. It was a mirage.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
It was Jupiter. Yeah. No, I'll tell you my story.
There's some swamp gas.
People tell me that it was Jupiter, so I'll tell you my story. I hate them skeptic bastards. It's like this, like every time you see a UFO program, you always get that astronomer. I can't remember his name. I know.
Buzz Aldrin.
I will find this fucking guy. He's an astronaut.
Yeah, I know he's an astronaut, but like I say, he's not a thingy. But he won't say anything.
Yeah.
He won't say nothing about what he's seen and what he's done.
But then he's like really cryptic shit.
He gives little hints and stuff like that, and you're like, if you're not allowed to say it, why are you giving us hints? Just tell us.
Yeah.
Just tell us, mate.
But you get that guy he's got like you'll know what I mean. He's got like a handlebar moustache, and every time there's a UFO program, and they have him. I know that they have to have skeptics on. They have to give a balanced view, but not when the view is absolutely fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like they're saying, "Oh yeah, I saw this object and it moved." It moved to the left, and then it moved back to the right, and then it moved back, then it stopped. And he's saying, "Oh yeah, that's the track of fucking Jupiter." Yeah, that's over like 2 weeks.
It's like we covered it.
But this was seen in one line.
We covered it in last week's show. You can tell different alien craft, UFO, to a plane. The way they move, the way they can just stop still and shoot off at a 180 degree angle, and going at fucking 1,300 miles an hour, and then it's just stopping dead. We ain't got it like that.
Well, he'd say that's Jupiter. But this is another case. So this happened in 1254. So again, this is years before we was flying anything in the sky, even airships probably. I don't. When did the first airship come to be? Probably like 1700s or something.
Well, First World War, I don't know about. Germans had one.
Yeah, but it must be before that. But anyway, this happened in St Albans in England in 1254. On New Year's Day, 1254, several monks at St Albans in Hertfordshire saw what looked like a kind of large ship. And again, ship meaning just a word for something that's in the sky. Oh, they didn't have a word for spaceship, so ship. It was elegantly shaped and marvellous colour, right? It was New Year's Day. There was multiple witnesses to this event. The monks were at the church as part of the celebration. The ship hung over silently, with one describing it as seeming to paint the sky. The incident was recorded by Matthew Paris in precise detail, right down to the fact that the moon was 8 days old and that the night sky was coloured with stars. So it was a clear night. We obviously knows where the moon is. I know what we're talking about here. The ship eventually climbed into the sky without incident. It was theorised afterwards that the most likely had been a cloud, as it appeared to dissolve and disappear. And again, we've got no appreciation of speed at 1254. So if this just went whoosh, you see them do, then you'd think that just vanished so it appeared to dissolve and disappear. It was possible that Matthew's account had been a bit more imaginative than others, although there was no doubt something was witnessed. A similar experience also occurred in 1290 at Byland Abbey in Yorkshire. The abbots and several monks witnessed a large round silver disc flying over them at great speed. See there, 1290. I keep saying 19 because I think, this is going to be like today. Like, it's not. 1290. Yeah, 1290. They're seeing a large round silver disc flying at great speed. But what's that? If someone said to you today...
it's a shooting star.
Yeah. Fuck's sake.
Oh, no, wait, it was a satellite. Yeah, we didn't have satellites in space.
Oh, don't get me started on satellites. Yeah.
Well, anyway, I've got one more here. Flying saucer over Kill Province in Japan in 1180. Pretty cool. I like the Japanese. They know what they're on about. The term flying saucer is widely accepted to have been coined in 1947 by a newspaper reporter who heard Kenneth Arnold describe UFOs he saw while flying. The pilot described how the UFOs moved like saucers skipping over water. Although Arnold himself didn't use the term or the phrase flying saucer, began to appear in newspapers across the world shortly thereafter.
Yeah, because he actually saw Delta craft. Yeah.
However, at least one of the Japanese fishermen used a similar phrase 800 years earlier. This is 800 years earlier, flying, skipping saucer. So that's 800 years earlier before this Kenneth Arnold described it. So that's pretty cool. It says when he and several fellow fishermen were witnessing to a strange sighting in the night sky. The unusual bright object was described as an earthenware vessel.
So
the UFO,
basically,
was a first sighting coming from the mountain of Nakayadake. I can't say it, but anyway.
That's close.
In the Kai province, heading a northern-easterly direction. However, it suddenly altered its direction and sped off over the horizon, leaving nothing but a bright, luminous trail.
Yeah, and that's what happens. You ever seen Star Trek? And that's not real, but in Star Trek, when it goes to warp speed, it leaves the trail behind.
I've got a Star Trek game on my phone. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Star Trek. It's making a comeback, that Star Trek.
It should be really good, like Pokemon.
No, don't get me started on that.
Well, you're going to get it.
Yeah, probably will end up with that. There's another one. A wave of airship sightings over the skies of North America in 1897. Right, actually begins in 1896 in San Francisco, when the airships were seen by hundreds of people travelling against the wind, right, and using searchlights. Now, if this could, when you start reading this, you think, yeah, it's just airships. But when they start bringing out stuff like searchlights, and this is what, every time people see UFOs now, there's a beam coming down to the ground, searching around for something, isn't there? So this is what they're quoting in 1896. So it's looking at using searchlights as it moved through the air. Several hours later, there were further sightings of Santa Rosa in Sacramento, and appeared to be the same craft. So it's moved quite a distance there in just several hours. So yeah, so it's again. So and again, it's going against the wind. So airship wouldn't really. No, play it, is it?
Nah, airships. If you've got an airship, you normally go with the wind, don't you?
Yeah, but I guess you can go against the wind, but not to move sort of distances like that in
short amounts of time. Aerodynamics has to come into play there if you're going against the wind. That's why you see planes, even you see planes today being shaken by the wind and landing and stuff.
Yeah, over the next few months there were numerous sightings of strange airships, although some were later proven to be hoaxes. Several sightings were regarded as genuine and solid and credible witnesses. One particular sighting over the skies of Chicago in April 10, 1897 was witnessed by thousands of people. By the time these sightings reached Texas, there were more than just sightings, as at least one person, John Barclay, was approached by the crew of the airship and was asked to buy them supplies and tools. Slightly bemused, Barclay did what he was asked. Before the airship left, Barclay asked one of the men where he was from, to which he replied, "From anywhere, but we will be in Greece the day after tomorrow."
Okay. Weird stuff going on. Weird stuff. That's it. Anyways, we've got the first documented UFO sighting in North America, Massachusetts. This is the first recorded one, it says, in 1638. I love it. Recorded in a journal of Governor John Winthrop, it was widely regarded as the first documented UFO sighting in North America. Winthrop wrote the usual, sober, discreet man named James Everell, along with two others who weren't named witnesses. The great light in the sky over the banks of a muddy river near Boston. The witness stated that the object stood still, it flamed up, basically, is what we're saying here, flamed up. And when it was in motion, it took the shape of a swine. What's a swine look like? Pig. It was a pig on fire.
Yeah.
This would have been the easiest reference that everyone who was a pig farmer would have had for what he had witnessed.
Yeah, so he's just comparing it to something he knows the shape of, basically.
Yeah. The UFO may have been a cigar-shaped object. Here we go, that's them cigar-shaped objects one. You don't see many of them about. It's all egg-shaped and thingy now.
Yeah, a few delta wings.
The three witnesses followed the light for about 1.6 kilometres, in other words, a mile. Nothing that it was swift as an arrow. Back in them days. As it moved along before it disappeared from their view, Winthrop accounted of the incident is only one known to exist. Pretty cool. So it's moving at some speed as swift as an arrow. Back in that's what they could say, an arrow. Because if you think back to what? 1638, it would have been swords and arrows, wouldn't it? It wouldn't have been guns or like that in that time.
No.
It might have been muskets, maybe. But we're going to refer it as swift as an arrow was probably the deadliest weapon that they had at the time.
Yeah, that's it. That's a measure of speed, isn't it? An arrow was pretty quick, wasn't it?
It does.
So, well, this one's this is back in England again. This is 1809. So we're getting up. No, we're getting up now to and this is still 100 years before flying aircraft. So, English astronomer John Staveley submitted an account of something strange he witnessed in the night sky above Hatton Gardens to the Journal of Natural History and Philosophy and Chemistry. Staveley stated that he saw what looked to be black clouds that had meteors moving around, as well as lightning flashing through it. At first, he thought he was witnessing a strange meteor shower, until one suddenly increased size until it became a brilliance the magnitude of Venus. He then realised that there was something rather more extraordinary. The object became stationary and dimmed before vanishing. He watched the spectacle for around an hour, with the lights dancing in and out of the black cloud, moving in ways unlike natural elements such as meteors. The fact that Staveley was an astronomer, and the fact that he submitted his report to such an established and respected journal of the times grants at least some credibility to the sighting. Yeah, they only got one guy's view at this, haven't you? But this guy is an astronomer, and again, he's talking about, he's describing it in terms that are easy to understand. But when he's talking about meteors, but they're moving round, not falling down, he's watching them for an hour. And it's 1809, but this is similar to what people will say today, like these motherships where they see you see a lot of UFOs nowadays are like orbs.
Yeah,
aren't they?
Egg-shaped and stuff
sometimes
like
sometimes they'll transform into...
See on the ghost hunting program, an orb to shoot past.
Yeah, but real... sometimes basketball shaped, that's, not talking massive craft here, but like basketball shaped glowing orbs that just fly around.
I don't know if you've seen it.
Joined together.
Watching YouTube yesterday, and it was about 18 minutes long video. It was something strange happening in our world or in our skies, and it shows you this. A lot of people see it and think a rocket. When I first saw it, I thought that's a rocket, but it started off with a stream, then it started opening up. It was just a big, and I was like, that's not a rocket. It can't be a rocket because it would just be one line, wouldn't it? Like when you see a jet stream from an airplane, it's just one line. But this opened up into a bit like a big orb, and you could just see a big ball of light at the centre of it. It was well weird. That's a good one to watch.
Yeah, what's that? What's that project? What is it? Bluebeam. That's meant to make holograms and shit in the sky.
Yeah,
that's something they're working on. And they reckon that there was gonna. I saw something about it the other day where it was gonna create the face of Jesus in the sky to get people back to believe in. Before this.
People believe in what they believe.
Yeah, before this war that they're going to try and start soon.
Yeah, I've read all about that. Yeah, I don't know why they want a fucking mass war.
That's another show.
It's like there's just a woman going on Facebook. She basically destroyed racism in a minute. She did. She destroyed it straight away. We're all one race. That's all she said. We are. Doesn't matter what the colour of skin are. We're all human race. That's it in the story. She's an educator. She was, and she just hammered everybody. It's on YouTube. Just type in the woman who destroyed racism in 1 minute.
No, don't we?
She did. She destroyed it in 1 minute.
You know what the biggest growing race is? Mixed race.
Yeah.
So eventually, everyone will be the same. So it'll be no
we're already the same. We've just got different coloured skin in that. We're all human beings. We're all part of the same planet.
But when we get to all be a mixed race, that'll be end of all this, won't it?
Oh yeah, well, it's good, wasn't it?
You'd hope so. Yeah, you've got cases like the Milton Torres case. This happened on the 20th of May, 1957, over Kent, England. He was a fighter jet pilot. At the time, he was flying the F-86D, which is a transonic jet all-weather interceptor. Anyway, he got the call to scramble. He got the vector of 120 degrees at 32,000 feet altitude, which took him over the North Sea. He was told by ground control that they'd been observing a blip for some time orbiting the East Anglia area. They did their checks, the usual checks that they do, like trying to hail it and get a response, and there's no response coming back. So they've done all the checks, so that's why they've been scrambled. The bogey was motionless for long intervals over Ipswich area. So again, it's not constantly moving, it's sometimes stopping. So that if it's going to be a conventional aircraft, you're probably talking about a helicopter rather than a plane. He was told to gate, which means go the fastest the plane will go, max out. And then he was asked what he could see, but the weather was so bad he couldn't see anything, so he told him he was in a suit. Yeah, so he had no frame of reference, i.e. stars, or he couldn't see the ground, any landmarks, nothing, it was just in a cloud. Ground control manoeuvred him so that he was in a position to fire the rockets, if need be. When he got the order to fire his full salvo of rockets, now at the time he was a lieutenant, he was only 26, and he was fully aware of the magnitude of the gravity of the situation, and he actually asked to make sure that it was a valid command. He actually said, to be candid, he almost shit his pants at that point. He asked for authorization codes, and he got them. And he was scrambling around to find this because he's got like a little pocket on his flight suit there, on his leg, where he's got these codes, and he's trying to double check that these codes are valid, and they were valid, they weren't messing around, this was no joke. He was told where to look, could see on his radar that there was a blip there. It was that bright, it was burning a hole in his radar screen. Now he compares the brightness of the blip on his radar screen to the size of an aircraft carrier. So when you get a lock on a conventional, like a jet or something, the blip would be pretty minimal. And obviously this was massive, so he was saying, it's got to be an aircraft carrier, although it's flying, so a flying aircraft carrier. Yeah, he said that the blip on his radar was so big that it actually locked itself. Now, I think the max lock-on for these... I think the radar screen was 30 miles. I think the max lock-on was 15 miles, depending on the size of the blip. Yeah, the blip. Obviously, if it was a jet, you'd have to be a bit closer, but this was that big that he could get a lock-on at 15 miles, no problem. He was asked to perform an overtake, so he was calling back the seconds, until he was reached the target, so, like 30 seconds, 20 seconds. And when he got to 20 seconds, the object that he was approaching was at the 7 o'clock position. And then as he got to 10 seconds, so within 10 seconds, the object had changed rapidly to the 6 o'clock position, then 3 o'clock, then 12 o'clock, resting at about 11 o'clock, which indicated a negative overtake of 200 knots.
Wow.
That's as much as the display would show. So it could have been more than that.
Could have been, yeah.
But it was at least 200 knots. So there's no way really knowing how quick it moved, although obviously...
I would have thought they would have known, really.
Well, they probably,
Probably do, but like I said, they're not going to tell us, yeah.
But anyway, so it moved off. At that point, it had moved off his radar, and ground control confirmed it had moved off their radar as well. So that's jets being scrambled, something that they can't catch, and it's there for a while. And this is not fucking. I mean, it wasn't even seen by him. It was only seen on radar. So this isn't the case of like these guys saying, "Oh, it was Jupiter" or whatever. No, we didn't even see this. This was just radar. A similar thing happened in Tehran over in Iran. There's an Iranian pilot.
Two, actually.
Jafari, I think his name was.
Yeah, I know what about. Yeah.
And he was scrambled to intercept a UFO. And the same thing again, he couldn't get a lock on today. So every time he tries to get a lock on, the
instruments in the airplane
just fail. Yeah.
But so one tracking a big craft. There was tracking a big craft, wasn't there? A little craft come out of it, didn't there?
Yeah, well, the story is that. But he actually said that at one point. He couldn't get a lock onto this thing, so he actually turned away from it, and he actually said if this thing caught up with him, got within 4 miles of him, he was just going to exit the aircraft at that point. Just fucking get the fuck out of it, because it was that
It was at that stage, wasn't it? So the target system, everything wasn't working. You got away from it from a distance, and it all come back on.
Yeah, come back on. Yeah.
Apparently, there was a second pilot happened to as well, because they sent two. I believe it was two.
Yeah, same with that Milton Torres case. There was two pilots there, and he could hear the Rogers coming through. Every time there was a command from ground control to him, he would say, "Yeah, Roger," and the other guy would say, "Roger." So he knew that they both had the same commands to shoot this thing down, and neither one of them could get a lock on it. So.
Just tells you, doesn't it?
So that's that, like.
It shows you.
So there's a lot of shit going on.
What the government won't tell us. Why won't the government tell us that? Well, that's the thing. Why won't they say, yes, there is extraterrestrial life out there,
well,
yes.
We'll do a show on disclosure, because I got feelings about that. But I'll go into my story now, what the UFO that I saw, and the reason why I don't think it was man-made. Basically. But this all happened about, it was about 10 years ago now. What it was, I was with a friend of mine, and my brother as well. We was digging around the corner from me. There's a park, and there's a fence. One edge of the park's got a fence that goes into some offices. And we was actually digging under this fence to make a little escape route, because in them days, and I was about 11 or 12, something like that, but in them days we used to play a game called Tracky.
Yeah, everyone did.
Which is basically the equivalent of, I don't know if Americans have tag, do they?
Yeah, they will have it. They'll have tag.
So,
Tig, yo it.
Yeah, so we
be like, Tig, yo it, man.
So we had that sort of game,
Dude.
but he was basically broken into two teams, and the object of the game was to capture the opponent's players, wasn't it? And so if you caught them, you said 1, 2, 3, Tracky caught, and then
just be one person that chasing the line.
And then you had like a holding zone where if you got caught, you had to go in the holding zone, and then the other team could come and release you. Your team could come and release you, so you had to. You had to either guard the zone or go and find.
I used to call it manhunt.
Yeah, so basically, but so that's a. If it was time, basically, whoever caught them in the least amount of time won, type thing. So anyway, so he's making this escape route, so we'd know where this escape route was, and so the other team won. That was the plan. Anyway, so we're digging away. Me and this my friend was digging away under this thing, and our kid was, my brother was leant against a tree, just laid back in this tree. Not a great deal off the floor, but just leant back, just watching the sky, not helping us. And anyway, after so long, he said, "Hey, look at this star." And so we turned around to look at this star. And the only way I can describe it, the easiest way to describe it, is if the moon was visible. The moon, if you put a 2p coin at arm's length up to the sky, that was about the size of the moon at the time, right? And not very far away from it, there was a really bright star, and this star was about the size of a penny. Yeah, so that's about the size differences. So it's not as big as the moon in the sky, but it wasn't far off. It was quite big. It was really bright. Anyway, he was watching it, and I just assumed it'd probably be a planet or like a Venus or a Jupiter or that type. So I just thought, it's really interesting. But they got back to digging. Anyway, about 15 minutes had passed, and my brother says, "That star's moving." So we all stopped what we was doing and had a look at it, and it was moving, but it was so fucking slow. If you weren't watching it, if you was just passing it and just looked up every now and again, you wouldn't know it was moving. That's to really watch it. You could see that it was moving, and then all of a sudden we was also watching it. We was all saying, "Yeah, it is moving," that type of thing. And then literally all of a sudden, within a clip like that, there was a craft that just materialised in front of us. Bang! It was there, and this craft was. Essentially it was like a figure of 8, but 2 overlapping circles. It didn't have lights on it. It was glowing, like a green, like a shimmering, like between a red and green and that sort of colours. But it didn't have lights on it, conventional lights. But it was glowing, and it was right overhead. It was literally about, I'd say, not even 200 foot off the ground, and the craft itself was probably getting on for about 100 foot, maybe longer long. I mean, I've been under the Vulcan bomber. I've been under a Chinook. So, for sort of size comparison, it was a little bit longer than those, but wider as well. A lot wider. Anyway, it just hung there for maybe 10, 15, 20 seconds, something like that. And we was just all in awe. None of us spoke. We just were looking at it. There was a guy walking his dogs. I think he had 2 or 3 Alsatians. He was walking across the park there, like I say. And this was right above him. He was just wandering around, minding his own business. Didn't have a clue that this thing was there. Literally 200 foot above his head. And one of us shouted out, I can't remember which one of us it was, but one of us shouted out to this guy, hey, I can still remember what they said. It was like, hey, mister, what's that? And this guy like looked around, looked up, seen that, and he just took off, running. Just fucking legged it. As soon as he started running, we started running. Now, I don't know why we was running, because, you know what I mean, none of us were scared or anything. But as soon as he started running, we started running.
That's weird how that happens, that.
Yeah, so we just took off. And as we banked around the corner to come back towards our house there, this thing actually moved the same direction as us, really slowly. There's no noise, just moved slowly. Moved over the row of houses that's just over the other side of the road to the park. And then it just zipped off. You know, it just whoosh and gone. And it was just gone. Boom, gone. So, you know what I mean? It was a star, it was a craft, and it was gone. Just that. Now, the reason I think that was alien rather than military is because it seemed to fucking know what we was thinking. It knew we was looking at it. Do you know when it was a star?
Mm-hmm.
Because it was just a star, and it could have just stayed a star, or a bright object in the sky. It could have stayed like that, and that would have been the end of it, wouldn't it? But it actually appeared. It could have appeared anywhere, couldn't it? But unless you believe in coincidences, that it was going to materialise there anyway. I don't know, but
no.
But we was looking at it, and it was only at the time we was looking at it materialised in front of us, like it did. So I think that some way, somehow, that thing was could read our minds.
I reckon back in them that day, 10 years ago. Well, I don't know if it was mobile. I don't think it was mobile phones then, was it?
15 years ago now.
Yeah.
15 years ago now.
I don't think it was. I think it was mobile phones, but if they did, they didn't have bloody cameras on them like that, anyways. Didn't they?
No.
So to me, that says to me it's a clear cut case. I've never seen a UFO. So I don't know what one looks like. I've only read what I've read.
Now...
If I ever do see one, I'm not going to go off and fucking lie about something I've seen. I don't see the point in it. What's the point? So I believe you anyway.
If it happened again now, I think I would be able to take a photograph of that. And the first time it happens, I think you're in total shock, like we was. And I can remember, none of us spoke. The strange thing about it is that none of us spoke about it the next day. The day after that, it was probably 5, maybe 10 years afterwards that we actually spoke about it. Kind of weird that. And the only reason that I spoke about it is because I was watching a documentary about UFOs, and this old lady saw a similar thing. She saw a bright light in the sky. She was driving on the road, there was a bright light in the sky, then all of a sudden a craft materialised, but it was a dumbbell shaped hairs.
Yeah.
Similar thing though, it just materialised in front of her, and only when did I see that, then it jogged memories, and I thought, I asked people that were there about it, and obviously they could remember it, but our kid didn't want to talk about it type thing. But
he never does though, does he? But he is a skeptic if you've ever seen one.
But so that's why that to me is an alien craft, because either way, right? You can either look at it two ways. It's military, and we're being lied to about our capabilities, because that craft could quite clearly go out of our orbit, no problem.
Yeah,
the speed that it moved, it was like literally there, then there, like not even in a second, then it was gone in a second. Bang, gone.
It's like we've got the Lincoln Triangle, haven't we?
Yeah. And this is right in it, basically.
Pretty much.
But so that rules out military conventional aircraft. But let's just say it was a military aircraft. Then we're being lied to about what our capability is, right? If it wasn't military, then therefore it was alien, or someone else's military. But let's rule out all militaries. Because it could have been Russian. It could have been. I've been in touch with the MOD about it and saying, look, this happened. What are you doing about it? Type thing, Because if that's not yours, then it belongs to. It could be Russian. It could be Chinese. What's it doing over Grimsby?
Yeah, okay.
You know what I mean? So they said, well, they just sent me a list of reports that they'd had around that time, like 4 pages of reports, and just said, can you see anything on there that looks similar to what you saw? Type thing, and there was nothing on there that was that shape. The shape itself, figure of 8, you don't air it.
It's like the thing in it. What's that sign called? The 8-shaped one. Eternity.
Yeah,
sign,
that's the sort of shape it was. But you don't air that craft, do you? No. So so I was looking at all these reports, and that craft wasn't mentioned at all. So that was a waste of time. Military or alien, I'm falling on alien, and mostly the reason I'm falling on that is because this was 15 years ago, and we've not had
10 or 15 years ago.
Yeah, we've not had these craft. We're just not out there, are they? No. This is about the time, similar time to maybe the stealth bomber being classified at that time. So that was our capability at that time.
Yeah, but I don't think a stealth bomber will just appear out of nowhere and just hover over your head.
No, this was far more capable than a stealth bomber. So that's what I'm saying. If I know like the military always 20 years in front of what. So if they're releasing a stealth bomber, they've already got something that's 20 years better than that. But was this military? If it didn't lock onto us the way it did, and I totally, honestly believe that it knew what we was thinking at that time. That's their only explanation for it. And I've heard another case but this case was a flying triangle, which I generally think they're man-made. But there was a case in Michigan where a mother and daughter saw a flying triangle, and as it came over their house, they were both stood on the porch watching it, and the mother felt like an attraction to it. She felt joy and peace and blah blah blah, whereas the daughter was absolutely terrified, and it was almost like it was doing some sort of mind control on the mother to make her think it was friendly and all the rest of it. Because seeing something like that over your head, the last thing you're going to think is, "Wow, this is wonderful, magical, friendly." Exactly, that's it. You're going to go, "What the fuck? I've never seen that like this." So that's the daughter's reaction, is the accepted reaction for something like that. The mother's reaction is totally what? It's totally alien. I'm going to say, but
the government are working on things what can manipulate your brainwaves and tell you what to do. They do it in their TV adverts all the time. But the government can manipulate brainwaves. They've got technology that can do that because they've been testing it out since the fucking 1950s, 60s or something.
Yeah, well, that like I say, this was a flying triangle, and a lot of these flying triangles, I do believe are man-made. So yeah, but that is like a form of microdrug. That did a similar thing to what mine did, but did it control our minds? Because like I say, we didn't talk about it for weeks, months, years after.
Well, it's like there's a few people who've been abducted by aliens. Forget it ever happened to them. And then all of a sudden the memories are coming back and all that, and I'm like, over a period of time. Yeah. And maybe it might be like a bit of amnesia.
Or is it just your body's natural reaction, like that shock? Where the body...
Yeah, because it can go into shock and it can paralysis kind of thing.
You can, like if you have a car crash, you can't remember necessarily things happening.
Yeah, or it's like when you get, same reaction when you're drunk, that you left the pub, you're drunk, you get home and you're like, how the hell did I get home?
Yeah, you can't remember it.
Can't remember it.
So the body does have the capability to just block things from your memory, so I guess... But no, I don't think it was. Maybe it was blocked from memories for a few years. I don't know. I don't know. Without going back to that time.
Unless we get a time machine, and we can go back to that day and have a look.
To me, I think, like I say, either way we're being lied to, aren't we? They either know what's going on and they're not telling us.
Of course they know what's going on. It's called the government.
Or they're theirs. And
the government know what's going on. Of course they've got to know what's going on. It's their job to know what's going on. And then not to tell us, which I think is wrong. They should tell us. I think we should let know, because UFO, ufologists, everything, it's all after, I reckon since 9/11. After 9/11, that's when the world got more curious than anything. It was 9/11 that triggered it, because now there's people into conspiracy theories. Yeah, I believed it and I was into it, but for me, it was a sad day for everybody. Yeah. But 9/11 is what actually triggered it off.
Well, I think it's what
triggered everything off.
It's because one of the major conspiracies that happened in the computer age, Yeah. And so people can find